Are you thinking about homeschooling or already in the thick of it and wondering, am I doing this right? You're not alone. When I started homeschooling 7 years ago, I was overwhelmed with questions. I had a teaching degree and years of classroom experience, but I still felt unprepared. I made mistakes. I bought the wrong curriculums. I stressed about whether my kids were learning enough. I tried to copy public school at home and I nearly burned us all out. But I also found freedom, joy, and connection that I never had in a traditional classroom. In this video, I'm going to share what I wish I had known when I started homeschooling, the 5 biggest lessons that would have saved me time, money, and a whole lot of second guessing. If you're just getting started, I've put together a free homeschool jumpstart guide you can download using the link below. It'll walk you through everything from planning your days to choosing a learning style that works for your family. So let's get into it. Tip number 1, you do not have to recreate school at home. This was a big one for me. I trained as a classroom teacher, and I had 7 years experience teaching in public and private schools. But when I started homeschooling, I was super nervous I was going to mess up my kids' education if I didn't follow the traditional school model. In the beginning, I tried to copy what I knew, a strict schedule, rigid subjects, and a workbook or curriculum for everything. My kids were 1.5, 4, and 6 when we started homeschooling, nowhere near needing highly structured academics. But I thought that more structure was better. Of course, that quickly led to burnout for both me and my kids. My middle child, even years later, still fights me on schoolwork because of those early battles. Over time, I learned that homeschool doesn't have to look like public school. It can look like reading together on the couch, exploring nature together, baking while learning fractions, or deep diving into interests like soap baking or building with Legos. The flexibility you have as a homeschooler is your biggest asset. Don't be afraid to use it to create a rhythm and a life that you want to share with your kids. Tip number 2, curriculum is not the magic answer. I spent so much time and money trying to find the perfect curriculum. I watched endless YouTube reviews and bought at least a dozen curriculums that first year, and we didn't finish any of them. Here's the truth. Even the best curriculum won't work if it doesn't fit your child's learning style or your season in life. What works beautifully for one family might not work at all for yours. And what works for one child in your family might not work for their sibling. That's okay. It's okay to mix and match. It's okay to switch mid-year. It's okay to not finish a workbook. Your relationship with your child is always more important than the curriculum. Focus on connection and helping them discover a love of learning. The rest will fall into place. Tip number 3, it's okay to go slow or to go fast. One of the biggest mindset shifts I had to make was realizing that homeschooling doesn't have to follow anyone else's timeline. Just because your child would be in 3rd grade in public school doesn't mean that you need to do all of the 3rd grade work exactly as they'd be doing it in public school. Maybe 3rd grade spelling is appropriate for them, but maybe 3rd grade math is too much. So moving back and revisiting 2nd grade concepts would be better. Maybe 3rd grade science topics are way too easy, and you could incorporate 5th grade material into your lessons. The beauty of homeschooling is that you can provide an education tailored to your child's unique needs, something public and private school can never do. Of course, this can also lead to some doubts if your child is struggling at all with grade level work. In the beginning, I was so afraid of my kids falling behind that I pushed too hard. I worried that if they weren't always working ahead, I'd be robbing them of their full potentials. Trust me, you do not need to freak out about college applications when your children are in elementary school. You have plenty of time. The beauty of homeschooling is that you can pause when you need to, revisit old concepts, or accelerate when your child's ready. You can spend 2 weeks reading about volcanoes, or take a whole month off in December to enjoy holiday traditions, and call that life learning, because it is. There's no rule that says learning only happens between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. When your child is building Legos or asking deep philosophical questions at bedtime, or helping you cook dinner, they're learning. So take a deep breath. You've taken your child off the conveyor belt of traditional school, and you can now guide them through this educational journey differently. You're on a path that's uniquely yours, and it's more than okay to work at your own family's pace. Tip number 4, kids learn best when they're interested, but structure does still matter. One of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is that kids do learn best when they're genuinely interested in something. When their curiosity is sparked, they absorb so much more, without you having to fight them every step of the way. That said, I'm not an unschooler. It worked well for some, but I've also seen how hands-off approaches can backfire. Sometimes kids spend too much time on screens, avoid doing anything that feels hard, and can end up with real gaps in their academic skills. Children need guidance, structure, and expectations. In our home, I've always prioritized the core academic subjects: reading, writing, math, and thinking skills, and we make sure these are consistently practiced. But I also try to weave in their personal interests within that framework. For example, if my kids really love animals, we use animal-themed books for reading and writing prompts. If one of them wants to start a lemonade stand, that's a great excuse to practice math, budgeting, and business skills. This balanced approach helps build both skills and confidence. It keeps learning engaging, but it also ensures that your kids are progressing in the areas that matter. So if you're worried about whether you're doing enough, know this: you can follow your children's interests and stay on track with academics. You don't have to pick one or the other. Real life learning counts, but so do daily habits, routines, and personal responsibility. Tip number 5, it's okay to change your mind. One of the things I wish someone had told me early on is this: you do not have to get it right the first time. Homeschooling is a journey, not a rigid one-size-fits-all plan. What works beautifully for your child in September might completely fall apart by January. That doesn't mean you failed. That means you're paying attention. And that's what good homeschooling looks like. Over the years, I switched up curriculums that look great on paper but don't fit how my kids learn. Schedules that worked really well for one season but became way too stressful for the next. Teaching methods, expectations, even homeschool philosophies as our needs evolved. And every single time I've made a change, I've grown more confident, not less. Because here's the truth: growing requires flexibility. The beauty of homeschooling is that you don't have to stick with something just because you started it. You're allowed to pivot. You're allowed to try something new. You're allowed to protect your family's peace, even if that means breaking up with the perfect curriculum or saying no to something that worked before. Each season of life brings different demands. Maybe you're adding a new baby to the family, or one of your kids is going through a tough phase emotionally. Maybe you're working more than usual. That's real life, and your homeschool should flex with it. Give yourself permission to shift. The power to adapt is one of the greatest gifts of homeschooling, so use it. Let's go over what we've covered today. The 5 things I wish I knew before I started homeschooling. Tip number 1, you do not have to recreate school at home. You have the freedom to design a learning environment that works for your family and your individual children, not one that imitates a classroom. Tip 2, curriculum isn't the magic answer. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. Choose what fits your child, your season, your values, and don't be afraid to switch if it's not working out. Tip number 3, it's okay to go slow or to go fast. Homeschooling gives you the freedom to meet your child exactly where they're at, not where a grade level says they should be. You can slow down, pause, revisit, or move ahead, all at your own pace. Tip number 4, kids learn best when interest meets intention. Follow their curiosity, but balance it with structure. Core subjects matter, but they're easier to engage with when they're tied to real life experiences and special interests. Tip number 5, it's okay to change your mind. Every season brings new challenges and opportunities. Flexibility isn't a flaw, it's a strength. So, if you're just starting out, or maybe you've been at it but are feeling a little stuck, know that we've all been there and you're doing great. Homeschooling isn't about duplicating school at home. It's about reclaiming your time, your values, and connection as a family. It's a beautiful journey, but it's not for the faint of heart. It will challenge you, stretch you, and grow you right alongside your children. Some days will be magical, and many will make you question your sanity. That's normal. You don't need to have everything figured out, so don't try to. You can and will adjust as you go. And if you're looking for a little extra support, don't forget to grab my free Homeschool Jumpstart Guide linked below. It's full of tips, space to plan, and encouragement to help you build your homeschool in a way that works for your family. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with another parent you think could use these tips. I look forward to sharing more about our homeschool journey in the weeks and months to come, and would love to tailor my content to meet your needs. So if there's something you're curious about or struggling with, let me know in the comments below. See you next time.